Hi, my lovely writing friends. Sales are down, costs are up. Is it really a good idea to self publish your work in this economy? I've got the TLDR for you, or perhaps I should call it a spoiler alert. Yes, it is. If you're interested, keep listening. Let's talk about the cost side of things first. I read on Reddit, see on YouTube, and everything else about the cost of putting out your self published work is just astronomical. Nobody can afford it. And usually that's when they're saying that when they're justifying their use of AI. However, people who have been in the self publishing game, like myself, for coming up 12 years now, will let you know that there was a time when we could do all this for free without AI. So, editing. I insist you need an editor. I have said it on so many videos, so many times, but you absolutely must get a second set of eyes on your book before you put it out. I don't care if you have a PhD in creative writing, if that's such a thing. I don't care if you are just some sort of savant who can write incredible prose without making one single mistake. You still need to edit your work. So, how do you do that? With the rising economy, editor prices have gone up, yes, but you can call on friends. You can do a reciprocal arrangement of editing with another author friend that, of course, you're making while you're building up your author brand on social media, which we've talked about so many times. You can look for editors with payment plans. There are plenty of ways of getting around this for either next to no cost or no cost at all. But it is absolutely essential that you get a second set of eyes on that book. Your cover. Again, so many places online tout how important the cover is, and it definitely is. Somehow or rather, that tiny thumbnail on a whole sea, among a whole sea of other thumbnails on an Amazon sales page, is your first indication for your reader to click and possibly buy your book. So, yes, you want an awesome cover. And I have shown, there is actually a video on this channel. It's an old one, but I did show how I made one of my covers quite some years ago. And basically, it's using Photoshop and mashing some pictures together, which you can get from royalty-free. I use Shutterstock, so I pay for a subscription for that. But I know now that there are places like Pixabay and other similar free sites where you can use images from there without breaking anyone's copyright or infringing any artist's rights. So use them. You can make it yourself. But if you truly can't, if there's a particular look that you want that's relevant to your genre or what have you, that won't be appeased by just mashing some different layers of photographs together, then seriously consider doing pre-made or searching for pre-made covers in your genre. It's a simple Google search. Just put in pre-made covers for whatever genre it is. You will find that a lot of artists do pre-made cover packages, and they will do them for very reasonably priced because, of course, as I said, sales are down. So artists that rely on their cover work to make them money are going to reduce their prices. Maybe you could buy some for a series. I know my lovely friend, author friend JP Sale does that. She will go into pre-made artist sites with pre-made covers, and she'll see a whole series of them. So she'll buy them, and she said to me just the other day, she said, "Oh, yeah, I haven't got a series for them yet, but the covers were really cool." So seriously think about pre-made covers. I used to suggest Fiverr as an option to get a cheap cover as well. However, it has been brought to my attention that a lot of those artists are using AI. And if you don't want that sort of black check mark against your book when you're uploading it. Maybe look at pre-made covers instead. But honestly, you can do it yourself. And if you want me to show you again using free resources, free programs, free resources, then let me know in the comments below and I'll do another video on it. The third thing that people pay money for is formatting. I have, what is it, 2 or 3 words for you. Draft to digital. You don't have to publish your work through Draft to Digital. Now, I do, because it's the only way that I can get my books onto platforms such as Smashwords, Apple, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, all of those, right? Living in New Zealand, I don't have direct access to those platforms myself. I can't sign up as an author for them. So I do distribute my books through Draft to Digital. But you don't have to. You can have a free account on Draft to Digital. It's very simple to sign up. And you can upload your book with all the metadata and everything else. That's fine. You just don't have to publish it. But part of that process of uploading your book is where you format it. Now, the formatting is simplistic. I will give it that. It's got maybe a half a dozen styles under about 3 or 4 different, big genres. And they're not artistic. But if you seriously object to putting your book up with just a Word file, then use the Draft to Digital option. Find the one it previews, so it shows you what your book will look like if you apply these different styles. And then you can download that file and upload that to Amazon when you're selling it. You don't have to publish through Draft to Digital to use that formatting service. It's completely free, so definitely consider that. And the fourth thing I wanted to cover in costs is marketing. I have got a whole playlist on here about marketing, and you will hear me say over and over and over and over again, use social media. All that costs is your time. And yes, it is time consuming. And sometimes you have to be a bit rigid about it. And you have to stop yourself falling down the rabbit holes of your For You page, but you can do it. And you can very definitely do all your marketing for your book by yourself on social media. You will need, obviously, an author name. You'll need pages for your thing. Pick 1 or 2 platforms, whatever you think would appeal to your readers. Like, where are your readers? Find them. Are they on Facebook? If they're older, they probably are. Are they on Instagram? If they're younger, they're probably there. Are they, I'm not going to say that, but maybe a bit weird or mysterious or what have you? You might find your niche on TikTok. It doesn't matter where, but set yourself up a plan and you can market your book completely for free, simply using social media. So there you go. That's the cost side of things taken care of. I have done and used to regularly put my book up completely for free. And I do have videos on this channel how I did it. Even now, my only major costs, I suppose, let me see, what do I actually pay for? I pay for editing. I actually pay for 2 because, as I've explained in previous videos, I am a New Zealander who was born in England and I write most of my books set in America. So I need 1 US editor to make sure I'm using the right words. And I also have a New Zealand editor who just goes through it as well for grammar and everything else like that. And I am more comfortable having 2 sets of eyes because it's really useful that one editor will focus more on commas. I'm shocking at commas, whereas another one might focus more on capitalization or whatever else. And both of them are in a position where they can let me know if I've got any plot holes or I've made any mistakes in things like eye color, hair color, names, and things like that in my text. So I do pay for 2 editors. And so that's about, so 150, about 350 per book USD. I pay for my Shutterstock subscription, which I think is about $60 USD a month. I pay for Adobe Photoshop, which I think is about another 80 USD a month or something like that, or it might be Australian. And I pay for my PA, but I pay for my PA because I want to, because I don't want to fall down the rabbit holes of social media. So I pay my PA to do all my promotion for me. But those are my costs. They are not into thousands. It doesn't cost me thousands of dollars to put out every book. If it did, I probably wouldn't do it. But you can do it for free. So that takes care of the cost side of things. But what about this low sales business? It can be really depressing. And especially if you're a new author, because I think the what would you call it? The surge in Kindle books in particular was a big deal until probably this last year or so. You know, there have been Amazon boycotts, there have been all sorts of things going on, and that, you know, add that to the general state of the economy after the pandemic. Yeah, things are not looking good. Sales are down. And even somebody like myself, who has been in this for so long, it can still be a bit, oh, really? Is that all my book did? You know what I mean? But one thing I have learned from doing this for so long is, firstly, this happens. There are different annual cycles. Books sell more at particular times of year than they do at others. For example, my sales go down when the American and Northern Hemisphere are all having their summer. I don't know why. It's just always been that way. You might think that December is a really good month for sales because it's holidays. No, you get more sales in January when people are spending their gift cards that they've got from Amazon. So keep that in mind. But that is a fluctuation that is very common and very normal. There is also, the whole recession cycle. You'll have a boom couple of years, and then sales will slip away that low, and you'll be thinking to yourself, oh, why am I even doing this? You know, and I've seen that online. I think I've talked about it in other videos. I've seen it where, you know, some of my friends, they've had to get into another job, go from full-time writing back to the workforce, you know, taking on extra work and this sort of thing. Or they've walked away completely. And that is really sad. But I genuinely believe that if you budget and you stay consistent in what you're doing, and this is not as easy as it sounds, and I know that, but if you stay consistently writing, publishing, writing, publishing, writing, publishing, the thing a lot of new authors forget is that simply if you don't get a sale on day one, that is not the end of the world. That does not mean your book's a failure. That does not mean things are crap and you should just give it up. It doesn't mean that at all. Once you, excuse me, once you put your book out there, it's there forever. You might not make any sales in your first book, but you're already writing your second. You're marketing it, but you're writing your second and your third and your fourth. And you will find that when somebody buys one of your later releases, if they've enjoyed it, they're going to go back and see what you've written before. And that's when you start to make those sales. So don't give up. If you've had your book edited, you've written it the best story you possibly can, it reads well, then you just have to trust the process. You have to find your readers, and you just have to trust that your audience will grow. It all starts from that first sale. And while that might not happen in book one or on day one, it will happen. You've just got to keep going. The one thing I have learned from doing this for so long is that this situation, this current situation, it doesn't last. Writing as a career is a long-term thing, not a quick rich scheme. I've always said that. So just keep going with what you're doing. And if you've got any questions at all on how you can increase your marketing or decrease your costs, then drop them in the comments below. In my opinion, there is no difference in putting a book out now as there was 6 months ago or 6 years ago. Although, okay, maybe there wasn't as much competition 6 years ago. But this sort of lifestyle is possible. You've just got to be prepared to be in it for the long haul. So what do you think? What's your experience? Are you making sales? Have you seen a drop in sales? Have you not put your first book out yet, and are you just worried that nobody will buy it at all? I do have videos that will help with that. Please check out earlier content on my channel, because I do try and cover as many different scenarios as I possibly can. But this is normal. This happens. And we've just got to keep going, my friends. For those of you interested, I post long form content on Mondays and Thursdays. Please feel free to comment anything at all below, because I do answer every comment. A like or subscribe is always appreciated, simply because it lets YouTube know that maybe you got something out of my content. Any video suggestions that you'd like to see, again, put them in the comments below. And just remember that I believe in you. I believe in your ability to write a book. I believe in your ability to self-publish a book. And I believe in your ability to eventually live a life similar to what I do, which is, as a full-time author, writing those stories that we absolutely love. Because believe me, those stories are a lot more fun to be working on than dealing with real life a lot of the time. Anyway, my friends, until next time, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you then. Bye.